reveals. But of course, this is completely irrelevant because I just destroyed the entire thing. So I'm going to show you something that if you haven't seen before, you are going to cry, as I promised before. So prepare the tissues. It's coming. I'm going to ask XD, which is the experience design, for help. I'm going to launch it. Wait for a moment. Now, don't be alarmed. You don't need to know anything about XD. The only thing that you need to know is your computer. OK? Click your computer, navigate to the same file. This is it. Click Open. To open it in Adobe XD, wait for XD to think about it. Let's just maximize it so you'll get a sense. You know what? Let's not maximize it. I hate when this is happening. All right, so I'm going to say Command or Control A. This is select all. And then I'm going to go for File, Export, After Effects. And then the magic is happening. Look at that. Everything, I mean, everything survived, even the locked layers. The textures are here. The text is live. I can do whatever I want. It is such a good day today. Now, the only thing that you need to pay attention is that if I'm going to go to the composition settings, XD really wants you to create 1-minute compositions. This is the thing with XD. So I'm just going to highlight this, press 3 period to create a 3-second composition. And I may or may not want 60 frames per second. I don't. I'm going to set it to something which is more in the video world, so 24 or something along those lines. And then I'm going to say OK. Now, note, this is going to create one of the famous names inside After Effects, Comp1. All right, so you do need to rename it to something else unless you're happy with Comp1. But let me show you a couple of things that you can do with it because this is so cool. And of course, I'm going to show you in a moment a final version, but just so you'll see why we went through the trouble, which is not so big of trouble, to create this. So let's start with those texts that we have over here. I'm going to select Mr. Kendrick Lamar here. Let's just zoom so we'll see what we are doing. I'm going to hold and press the space bar just to make sure that we see everything. Close this, go to the effects and presets, start to type down 3D rain, which should isolate this lovely preset, and double click in order to apply it. Press space bar, and just like that, we have something which looks very cool. Nobody understands what I did, but it still looks very cool. Basically, I applied an animation preset that was included inside After Effects, and let me show you what else you can do if you like this workflow. Let's go back to the beginning, select the name of the album here, and I'm going to start to type exposure. Now here you need to be careful. You've got an effect name exposure, but I'm after the animation preset exposure, which belongs to the lights and optical category. Double click to apply it, space bar to see what I did. Marvelous. I'm going to select the other layer here to give credit to the Illustrator. And I'm going to use probably my favorite, not over-the-top preset, which is word processor. Right? This is similar thing to typewriter, but for grown-ups. So I'll show you what it does. I'll make sure that I'm at the beginning. I'll double-click. And let me see if you can catch it. It gives you this lovely cursor, which is blinking. Can you see it? And if this is not good enough for you, you can change the speed of the blinking. So I don't know. I just think this is amazing. And of course, if you want it to be a little bit faster or slower, press U. You only need to mess with those 2 keyframes, and that's it for the text. All right. But this is not the big deal. The big deal is the thing that I can do with all of those shapes. Since I meticulously named them in Illustrator, they actually appear here with the same naming. So I maximized, by the way, the After Effects timeline by pressing the tilde or grave key. I think this is safe to say that everyone knows. And I'm going to use this index search over here because I only want to work on the face features. So this is why you should name your layers. I'm going to select the face contour. Let's go to the beginning. Once again, we'll ask for the trim path help. I'm going to drill it down, create a keyframe for the end value, and when in doubt, let's just go to 1 second and animate the thing. I'm going to preview it, and of course, it's doing the nice animation, but the wrong direction, which is not so much of a big deal. And you may think that if you'll do the other way around, like animate the start, it will fix it, but I'm here to tell you no. What you actually need to do is collapse and expand this and click on this guy. Reverse path direction on for some reason. And this is not working, but it should work. So usually it works. If you tried it in your hotel late at night, it works. In front of 1,000 people, it doesn't work. But I'll assume that it is working and you're happy with this direction because you're not really my director. All right, so I'm just going to take this one. I'm going to select this stroke. This is just a redundant effect. Let's go once again over here. And because we can, this is completely optional. I'm going to use the page turn effect. Cheesy one, but still. Look at this. All right, I'm not going to do this really. I'm actually going to double-click on the final because if you invest more time in it, it can actually look like this, which is very, very easy to pull off thanks to XD. We all need to thank XD for that. This is the thing. I mean, if you haven't installed it, do it just for this. And of course, you can do another great things with it. It's an amazing application. I'm just teasing.